Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. We are kicking off a series here on the TED Show that I am super excited about. Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're going to do a member spotlight every Friday. And our first guinea pig, victim, kind person is the one and only Dennis Watkins with TMW Insurance Agency. We're going to talk about alternative healthcare solutions for individuals, families, and businesses, which is a big topic that I know a lot of you have interest in. Welcome, Dennis. How you doing today?
Good morning. Thank you, Ted. Glad to be on the show. Glad to be the first one with the Lake Nona Chamber show. I have to give a shout out to my good friends Don, Madeline, and Felicity over at the Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce. If you're a new starting business in the Lake Nona area, you gotta join the chamber.
You absolutely do. You join the chamber, you get involved. The more you get involved, Dennis and I can both attest to, in any organization, but certainly that one, the more you'll get out of it. So big shout out to the Longs and to Felicity, because I think it's amazing what they do over there. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about you before we take a deep dive into alternate healthcare solutions.
All right.
Tell us about Dennis.
So I go by Denny. There was one person that called me Dennis, and that was Mom. And of course, if she threw the middle name in, you were in trouble.
You were in trouble.
Yes. So born and raised on the Chesapeake Bay, just south of Annapolis, Maryland, in a little sleepy town called Galesville, Maryland, right on Chesapeake Bay. So grew up with boating and all that stuff. And I joke with my friends, we moved to Florida 14 years ago so I could boat year round. Obviously, up north, you can't boat year round.
You cannot.
So my dad used to tell me as a little kid, I used to scream Labor Day weekend when he started to put the boat away for the season. So,
because you've always loved the water.
Yes, I grew up on the water skiing, the whole thing. Loved it.
So how'd you go from tranquil water growing up and hopping into the insane world of insurance? I know you probably didn't tell your parents at 8 years old you want to be an insurance agent.
No, so I've been in the insurance business since 1992, 28 years. Wow. But it's my second career. I did a career change at that point. I came out of college in 1975 in the engineering world, and spent 22 plus years playing engineer, traveling around. Worked for the Corps of Engineers in Germany back in the 80s, and I traveled so much, and I got tired of that. And we were, starting a family. And I was like, God, I'd love to do something different. So, working for yourself is pretty cool.
Isn't it? Yes.
Yes. So yes, my insurance agency is a second career, but again, been doing it since 1992. I'm strictly life and health insurance. And as I was sharing with you before, yes, I can write life insurance, and I do, but literally 99.9% of my business is healthcare. I'm an educator. I educate the consumers. So 14, 15 years ago, my wife and I got the itch of let's move to Florida.
Good itch.
And I think a lot of friends and family thought, all right, you're going to go down for a couple of years and then move back. You couldn't pay me to move back up north. Now, we have two kids, son and a daughter. I'm thrilled they got to grow up in the Four Seasons and snow and sleigh riding and all that fun stuff. But our son lives here in Florida, and our daughter lives in Texas with her husband.
Just curious why you made, and then let's talk about health insurance and healthcare solutions. Why was the choice to go from engineering to insurance? Engineering to me seems very left brain. Insurance usually has to do with sales and people. Why'd you make the leap? Being in the engineering world, I love math, I love numbers. So to me, that was a natural transition over into the insurance world, math. And I'm a people person. I like working with people. It's never about the sale with me. It's about educating the consumer and finding them the right product to fit their needs. And I joke and say, fit their needs, not the insurance company's needs. And that is a great thing. We were talking before we went live, how I have that license, but I always referred that business out because I really feel like you need somebody who's focused on that to really understand the changes, the laws, especially in the last 5-10 years.
So much has changed. So before we went live too, we talked about how sometimes it's the health and life guy. If you walk in a room, it's almost worse than the old jokes, the old used car salesman kind of thing that people had, or attorneys. Love you all, but that's what people sometimes thought at parties. Same with insurance. So let's educate them. Let's talk about the alternative healthcare solutions for everyone.
So when I reference alternative healthcare solutions, the Affordable Care Act, ACA plans are important out there, and they play an important role, especially for those that have pre-existing medical conditions, and for individuals and families that have income levels where they would qualify for an ACA subsidy. That's important too. I mean, I have clients that do have ACA plans, and they qualify for subsidies, and they have a low monthly premium. But the challenge with an ACA plan, people are carrying these really high out-of-pocket, $8,000, $10,000 deductibles. So until you hit that, you're pretty much, paying everything out of pocket. So in the alternative space, there's a ton of people, families that make higher income levels and don't qualify for a subsidy. A family of 4, if they're not getting a subsidy, they're paying over $1,800 a month premium.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
That's more than their mortgage.
Wow.
Healthy people with no pre-existing conditions. They haven't developed any bad habits yet. I can take young people out of these $10,000 deductible plans and bring them into an alternative plan where their max out of pocket's $1,000.
Wow.
That's a big difference.
That's huge.
That's a huge difference. So I do work with individuals, families. My group space is businesses with 2 to 40 employees, or basically under 50 employees. I can do up to 50, but I kind of market to the 2 and 40 groups. And that's another big area out there for me. Yeah. My true love is a small business owner, 5, 10, 15 employees. They cannot afford a traditional group health insurance plan. I'm sorry. I have all the respect in the world. I have all the respect for the big insurance companies, but
yeah, that used to be the biggest expense, Dennis, as a business owner. I remember my portion.
I'll give you a quick example. Typically with traditional group health plans for small businesses, the cost just for the employee could be $600, $800 a month. The employer has to pay half, and the employee pays half. That's just for the employee. If the employee wants to then add a spouse, it's another $800. Well, one of my group plans, I can write an employee and spouse for $574 a month for employee plus spouse. That's huge. So for me, it's all about educating the consumer that these alternative healthcare plans are available. And there's something really exciting I'll share here real quick. We just rolled out a new program in the Orlando and surrounding areas called Our Primary Doc. It's a bundled product where we're working with direct primary care doctors that are part of a it's a group of independent doctors that are part of an organization in Orlando called Primary Partners. And we're bundling direct primary care with medical cost sharing for your larger expenses, concierge care service, telehealth. It's basically a package that for businesses and individuals. Wow. And we've rolled it out in Orlando.
What's been the response?
The response is huge.
Yeah.
The network of doctors is starting to roll out. We just recently onboarded 16 doctors' offices. Wow. In Orlando proper. We've got a cluster of doctors out in the Ovitas on the east side of Orlando. We've got a cluster of doctors on the west side, Claremont. We're going to be onboarding doctors in St. Cloud, Kissimmee area. And the concept is the member pays a monthly cost like a premium. And then anytime they go to their direct primary care doctor, they have no co-pays. They don't pay for that office visit. It's all free. It's all part of their membership.
Wow.
All right. And then we bundle that with a medical cost sharing plan to take care of all their medical needs that aren't covered by their doctor. So an illness, an accident, trip and break my leg, and I'm off to the emergency room on a Saturday. And we can offer as low as a $1,000 out of pocket as opposed to these $10,000 plans. So with this product and other products that I have in the alternative space, I break my leg and go to the emergency room, and when everything is said and done, I've got $10,000 worth of bills. I'm only out of pocket $1,000, and the plan pays everything else.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. And Daniel Shaw popped on. He wants you to email him after the show, and I will send. That's in the comments on LinkedIn. I'll forward it to you.
Thank you,
Dennis. Where can this is a bunch of questions before we went live. As soon as we use the word alternative, people want to know. Can you give us an idea of how many plans are out there? That was a question. Is this just the one plan? Are there multiple plans? What if? What if?
So, great questions. So thank you all for asking. There are dozens and dozens of these alternative plans, and they're not new. They've been around for a long time. The medical cost sharing plans that are designed to cover your larger medical expenses, they've been around for 30 years. Now, the typical health insurance agent across the country that's in the industry is either a captive agent, maybe with Florida Blue, or they work for an agency and they offer 2 or 3 plans. Nothing wrong with that, and all the respect to those folks that are doing that. But I chose many years ago with my agency to be more than just traditional healthcare.
Love it.
Now, these are not, if I started rattling names, you would never hear of these.
That's why they need to reach out to you. That's why you're on the show. You have to
That's right.
You have to have that personal. Trust me, on something like this, you don't want just a cookie cutter. Everybody's got a different situation, and you need a Dennis who can take that situation, plug it into his brain and his computer, and figure out which alternative is right for you. All right, Dennis. Guys, we'll have him answer all your questions later, but this is a good call to action. Dennis, tell us how they can reach you, how they can learn more about the alternative programs. What's the best way?
So I'm old-fashioned. I love talking to people. So my mobile number, you can call or text me at 321.
Good. I would have done the exact same thing.
You know what? That is so funny. I never call myself. Isn't that funny? 321-482-4194. 321-482-4194. My email is easy, TMW Insurance Agency at Gmail. And people always ask me what's TMW stand for. It's my wife's initials. My 3 initials were silly. And I gotta say, we're here in October. My wife and I will be celebrating our 39th anniversary.
Congratulations.
So she lets me use her initials with the name of my agency.
Let you is the right word. There you
Yes, there we go.
Right, Dennis,
so yeah, TMW Insurance Agency at Gmail. And then, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of my time is on LinkedIn. So let's connect on LinkedIn, and I'll share. But I'm all about educating the consumer, showing them the difference between traditional health insurance and alternative health insurance. And sometimes alternative plans are not for everybody.
That's right.
That's
why you have to call him and talk to him. Give us the number again.
321-482-4194.
All right. Thank you, Dennis Watkins with TMW Insurance Agency, Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce. You guys get out, get involved. And I know you had a ton of questions about health care solutions, health insurance. Give Dennis a call. Thank you, Dennis, for being on the show.
Ed, thank you very much. This was awesome. I'm glad I jumped at the opportunity.
I'm so glad. Our inaugural guest for the Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce show, and their website is lakenonacc.org. I did not put that down there, but I will put it in the comments. All right, guys, but I'll talk to you. See